What's up, Taiwan? Good evening. I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's military says that 3 Chinese helicopters breached its air defense zone on Tuesday. On the same day, a U.S. warship was confirmed to have sailed through the region. Jaime Ocon has the details.
For Taiwan's military, it came as no surprise that China would try to send a reminder of its presence in the region during a series of advanced weapons tests. It's the second day of anti-ship missile tests in Taiwan's southeast. On Tuesday, Taiwan reported 3 Chinese military aircraft entering its ADIZ, or Air Defense Identification Zone. And for the first time ever, an attack helicopter was spotted breaching what's called the median line of the Taiwan Strait. The area in this case was around 80 kilometers from Taiwan's coast. But the Defense Ministry said that it is closely monitoring the situation.
我们对于中共的各种可能的行动，都以料敌从宽的一个原则进行评估，也列入敌可能行动，妥为研讨。
On the same day, Taiwan confirmed that a U.S. guided missile destroyer sailed through the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. says it was part of a routine freedom of navigation exercise and in line with international law. Over in Washington, there are concerns that China's increase in military pressure is indicative of a broader plan.
It's our view that they are working hard to effectively put themselves into a position in which their military is capable of taking Taiwan over our intervention, right? We can talk in closed sessions about timelines and so on for how quickly they think they may be able to achieve that, but I think that is something that they are trying to achieve, which is to say that they would prefer not to have to use military force to take Taiwan. They'd prefer to use other means.
The latest tensions take place after China strongly denounced Washington's decision to change the description of Taiwan on the State Department's website. It removed a line saying that Washington, quote, did not support Taiwan independence. China considers Taiwan a part of its territory and has vowed to bring the country under its rule by force if necessary. The 3-day missile test taking place is one of a number of military exercises due to be conducted this year. While Taiwan heavily relies on the U.S. for support and for military hardware, the country's defense ministry has made it clear that its security will always lie in its own hands. Klein Wong and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.
China has reacted angrily to changes to the U.S. State Department fact sheet on Taiwan. Washington's amendments include removing a statement which said the U.S. does not support Taiwan independence. Our reporter, Ryan Ho-Kilpatrick, asked the Atlantic Council's Jessica Drunn about the significance of the changes.
The Chinese reaction, I think, is overblown. Just because we remove something does not mean that we no longer take that position. It just shows a shift in prioritization. I don't think that it indicates a policy shift. I think it reflects a shift in prioritization of different elements of existing U.S. policy towards Taiwan. That said, I think some of the elements that we have shifted our prioritization on, that we currently are emphasizing and placing more importance on, are elements that China doesn't like, such as highlighting the 6 assurances.
What do you think are these significant areas of change in these edits, and what do they indicate?
One of the significant edits is adding in the 6 assurances. I think it presents a more holistic picture of what the U.S. One China policy is, as informed by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, and the 6 assurances. I think also what is significant is that it shows that the United States is clarifying existing elements of its policy. So in a way, it's pushing back against China's efforts to reshape the narrative of what the U.S. One China policy is.
In this new version, the United States has removed a line about not supporting Taiwan independence. Do you think that this is a significant change?
So essentially, the U.S. One China policy says that Taiwan's status is yet to be determined. China likes to conflate the U.S. One China policy with its One China principle and say that the U.S. has come to a final determination that Taiwan is a part of China. The One China principle is the PRC view that Taiwan is a part of China, and the PRC represents the government of all of China, with Taiwan included within its territory. So they're very dissimilar, and the United States has never abided by the One China principle. And we've seen this falls against the backdrop of China's continued insistence that U.S. Taiwan policy is something that it's not. We've seen, statements out of Chinese state media saying that the U.S. has agreed to Beijing's One China policy. That is untrue. We've seen statements from Chinese government officials saying that the Taiwan Relations Act is illegal, or that the Six Assurances Act is also illegal. And I think all of this is coming at a time where China has pushed too hard on trying to paint U.S. policy as something that it's not. And so this clarification is necessary and overdue.
A shipment of humanitarian aid from Taiwan has reached central Ukraine after a journey of more than 8,000 kilometers. Organizers say the supplies will help people who have fled the fighting. Stash Butler has the report.
Volunteers unload 4 tons of food and clothing from a truck in Bila Tserkva. The city south of Kiev is a world away from Taiwan, but as the flags on these boxes show, this shipment has come a long way to get here. Its journey began in the southern Taiwanese city of Kaohsiung, where local Ukrainian Olga Kulish led a drive to collect donations.
真的没想到，所以我记得那时候短短的几天内就收到很多东西。有些人甚至于看到我们那么辛苦，他就是放下身边的工作，就说我帮你整理。
From Kaohsiung, the boxes flew to Frankfurt and crossed Poland before finally reaching Bila Tserkva. Locals spoke Mandarin to say thanks. The donation comes on the back of a recent shipment from Taiwan's Red Cross. The Foreign Ministry has also sent Ukraine almost $30 million in aid. This week's citizen-led delivery aims to help Ukrainians who fled their homes and show people in Bila Tserkva that Taiwan really does stand with Ukraine. Piper Yu and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Former Vice President Chen Jianren will again represent Taiwan at the second annual Global COVID-19 Summit on Thursday. Chen will give a pre-recorded speech at the summit, pledging that Taiwan will donate $1.5 million for global vaccine coverage. Chen says that Taiwan will also continue to provide medical masks, PCR testing machines, and other supplies to countries in need. The summit is co-hosted by the U.S. This year's focus is on global efforts to end the pandemic and preparing for future variants.
The Taiwan model is an example of how a modern democracy can work transparently using technology to fight the pandemic. We will continue to cooperate with our democratic partners to share this experience with the international community.
Taiwan recorded over 57,000 new domestic cases of COVID-19 on Wednesday, setting yet another daily record. The ongoing wave is expected to hit rail services with an increasing number of infections among railway staff. Taiwan Railways Administration says from Saturday it will halt 94 scheduled services. According to Taipei's mayor, the city is preparing for the peak of this latest COVID wave. Semiconductor giant TSMC says it's raising prices for a range of its advanced products. The Taiwanese chipmaker has told customers there will be a 6% price hike from January 1st next year. It comes less than a year after TSMC's biggest price increase in a decade. Global inflation, the war in Ukraine, and China's COVID lockdowns are all thought to be inflating prices. TSMC makes around 90% of the world's most advanced semiconductors. 2 more of Taiwan's athletes made it to the winner's podium at the Deaflympics. Xu Yanyi placed second in women's javelin, and Chen Chongyu took the silver for men's pole vault. Earlier, Taiwan captured its first gold medal at this year's Global Games for the Deaf. Sprinter Xu Le finished the 100-meter hurdles competition in 13.91 seconds, breaking the previous Deaflympics record for the event. Her victory puts Taiwan 17th on the medal table, with 1 gold, 4 silver, and 5 bronze medals. As in most international sporting events, Taiwan is competing under the name Chinese Taipei. This year's games are taking place in Brazil. They are scheduled to run through Sunday. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today, we'll leave you with images of a rice field in central Taiwan's Taichung City. This pattern was made by planting rice of different colors. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.